What's up everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up the DJI Osmo Pocket 4. Now this camera is very promising as it got a huge upgrade on the image quality and it also got a low light improvement. Also in this video I'm going to show you a few examples and the full setup guide of the Pocket 4. So let's jump into the settings and I will show you how to set this camera up and some of the features it has. Alright, let's head over to the settings. Let's turn this on. Now the first thing you can check, if you swipe the screen up, here you can change the frame rate 24 to all the way to 60. Now if you want to slow down the footage, then you should choose the 50 or 60 depending on your region. If you choose the wrong frame rate, it will create artificial flickering, especially indoors. To be honest, I would rather shoot 4K in every time, so you can crop in if you need to. Now the Osmo Pocket 4 came with two extra buttons here. One of them is the zoom button. If you click on it, it just zooms in 2 times, which is really handy. So from 20mm look, it will go into 40mm look. Now DJI says it doesn't lose any quality, so it will be still same 4K footage, but I think the depth of field not gonna change. You got an extra custom button here. You can set this up for different things. As by default, it will just put back the camera to the starter position. And the joystick, by default, it will zoom in and zoom out. You can change that if you click on here on this icon, the plus minus. You can switch to move the gimbal left, right, up and down pretty much everywhere you want. Now I would recommend to use it as like this, because to be honest, zooming in and out, you can do this with the button. Most of the time you're not gonna zoom in more than 2 times, I think, for the gimbal movements, then zooming in and out. This will turn back the camera to vlog mode, so it will turn the camera towards you. And if you click on here, on the left side, here you can set up different presets, like a spin shot, so it will either do like a 180 or 90 degrees spinning, so it will just turn the gimbal and the camera for you. And the spotlight follow, you can add the image of someone, so the camera will recognize you and basically follow you, which could be really handy, especially if you're shooting yourself and you don't have a person to help you. Then you could place this camera on a tripod and it could just follow you. If you turn the screen, the gimbal will switch off, but you can also prevent that. So if you turn the screen, you press continue and then it switches to vertical mode. It will be a 3K and maximum 60 frames per sec vertical mode. So the next thing, to swipe the screen to the left, and here you have 2 modes. One is auto mode completely, and if you click on the pro mode, you can set up the camera as you wish. So you can change the white balance. Now it's on auto white balance. You can change this to manual. You gotta upgrade so it not just changes the Kelvin but also the tint. I think you could get now a pretty accurate manual white balance. Now many times I use this to determine what is the current white balance. I click on the auto white balance, it will adjust the scenario, and then I just click on manual and then save it. But if you are going lots of times in and out and you don't have much time, I would recommend you to use the auto white balance in that case. Exposure, I always give a range. Exposing, I keep it to negative 0.3. If it's very, very bright outside, I change it to negative 7. 0.7. Always a little bit underexposed, especially for highlights. I only change it if it's dark, you know, but most of the time I just let it a little bit underexposed. 4 starts the base ISO from 50, so I give it to from 50 till 400 roughly. That is the range I let the camera to use auto settings basically. Now there are different effects here, like beauty and glamour effects, film tone. I switch all of these off, and then I always change the color to D-Log. And color recovery, if you select off, it will be very, very flat, so I would recommend you to select it to on. But the actual footage is going to be looking like this. This is just a display. It helps you to look how it would normally look like. Now you can shoot in D-Log 10-bit, and even in the app you can convert back to the Rec 709 color space, so you can recover the colors in the DJI app itself. I would recommend to shoot in 10-bit because this is the best quality you can shoot the camera on. it will give you the most flexibility as well for highlights and shadow too. And I think now with the app it's very easy to change the color space, so I would recommend you to shoot in D-Log. And then if you scroll down, the texture and noise reduction usually comes on either 0 or +2 and 1. We don't want the camera to over sharpen the image or do any noise reduction, so I always change in every shooting mode this to -2. This will give you more natural look, so if you need any noise reduction you can do that in post-production. It does much better noise reduction than the camera itself. Here you can create custom settings. I usually create custom settings if I use ND filters. So for instance, I would create a 4K 60 frame D-Log footage. As you can see, you have all the information there as well. Shutter speed, ISO, white balance. So it's really good because you could see your settings are saved here. Second icon allows you to pair the microphone. Okay, so first thing you have to do, you select if it's TX1 or 2. You have to hold this button here up until it's blinking blue and green, and then it will find the Osmo Pocket 4. And then it's basically just connects to the Pocket that easily. The third icon here is the flashlight. Here you can have your light set up for cool, natural, warm, and also the strength. You could also set up for hand gestures, and this could actually work within 2 meters range, and then you can have different gestures to start recording. Here you can change the orientation, so you can keep it portrait, auto rotation, landscape. Here you can set up the speed of the gimbal, so if you do any fast activity you can change it to fast or slow for more cinematic smooth videos. I keep this as default, so this is just basically in between. So this is also easy to access here. I normally keep this follow. I change to FPV when I want more dynamic shots. So if there is like something on the street, dancer or street performer or whatsoever, the grid I always turn on, so you know where to place your subject. Under this icon here, you can register subjects, so the camera will autofocus and will recognize those people. This is good if you're shooting many vlogs on the street, so in that case I would recommend to add yourself. Here you can turn on the screen rotate capture, so basically when you rotate up the screen it will start recording. I switched this off because to me it was more annoying because it started to record every time I turned on the camera. And custom keys. So here you can set up the custom keys for single press, double press, triple press, and you can give different functions. Bitrate from standard to high. So if you shoot on D-Log, it will be high bitrate anyway, so you cannot change this. If you choose to shoot on just regular color space, change this to high. So you will get larger file size, but you will also get better quality image. If you use manual shooting, then anti-flicker mode is gonna not work. Anti-flicker is the one I was talking about when it comes to, you know, indoor lights flickering. This is the 25 or 30 frame per sec, or 24 or 25 frame per sec. If you go to storage, here you can decide whether you wanna record on internal or SD card, so you can record on both. This camera comes with 107 GB usable storage. That is the amount you will access within the camera. To access different shooting modes, you have to click on this camera icon on the left corner here, and this is where you can select night shooting mode, which is the low light mode. The low light mode works up until 30 frame per sec, 24, 25 and 30 frame per sec. There is not real slow motion in night mode. This will be more important just for the flickering. You have to choose the correct frame per sec. I have tested this one. I will show you just right now because I think it shoots quite decent low light footage. And then you have the slow motion as well. Now the slow motion, you can shoot 4K up until 240 frame per sec. In these settings, you cannot shoot D-Log, but you can still change the texture and noise reduction to -2. Maybe you could go to the bitrate and change now back to from standard if it was standard to high. So keep your bitrate on high on every shooting mode so you get the best quality out of the camera. And then you have the time-lapse and hyperlapse. And for hyperlapse, I normally shoot hyperlapse on the Pocket. I shoot 4K, one of these frame per sec, and either 15 or 30 rate. A 1 minute video will be basically 2 seconds video in reality. And I would just change everything here to 4K for time-lapse as well. And then motion lapse as well, just change it to 4K. So then you have a proper 4K in every scenarios. I think the night mode works really well on this camera, and I think the image quality got some improvements compared to the previous model, so I could really see myself using this camera in professional environments as well. But I'm also going to test the 4P as well. Most probably it will be more versatile for what I do, especially with the 17 stops of dynamic range. That's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know what you think about the Pocket 4. I'm really curious to hear your feedback or your experiences with this camera. Let me know what you think, and see you in the next one.